Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Charles, and you're watching Save Our Children TV. Back at it for a brand new video. Tonight I have 8 stories for you guys, and these stories are unfortunate and heartbroken stories. And our first story is tragic, sad. Um, we have a 6-year-old girl and a 19-year-old male. Both were killed after a 15-year-old did a drive-by shooting. So it seems like it says Florida teen is accused of killing a 6-year-old girl and injuring a 19-year-old man. Orlando, Florida is going to take an L. I'm on an article. Local 10. Give me just 1 second. So I believe the 19-year-old who was shot along with the child, I believe he died from his injuries couple days later, because it says that he died. And this happened, it said it happened last year, but it says that this was updated September the 3rd, which was yesterday, and published yesterday. So let's talk about it. Teen is arrested in drive-by shooting that killed a man and a 6-year-old girl in Orlando, police said. The girl's mother injured from the shooting. So a 15-year-old boy was arrested Saturday in connection to the drive-by shooting late last month in Orlando that caused the death of a 6-year-old girl and a 19-year-old man, according to police. Nico Brown, 15, is expected to face charges of first-degree homicide and the shooting deaths of Ajelia Hashim, 6, and Isaiah Wright, 19. The Orlando Police Department said in a statement Sunday. The shooting reported just after 8 p.m. Tuesday on 1100 block of Poppy Avenue sent 3 victims to the hospital. Hashim, who police said was shot while inside of the living room, was taken to the hospital along with her mother. Wright got dropped off at a hospital emergency room and was pronounced dead, according to police. The girl suffered critical injuries in the shooting, police said. On Friday, the department confirmed that she had died. Her mother was still undergoing treatment for non-life-threatening injuries at last check. Orange County Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Maria Vasquez posted Friday morning on social media. My heart goes out to the Eagles Nest Elementary community, which has just lost a 6-year-old student to gun violence Thursday night. The mother and daughter were not the intended targets of the shooting. Police said, adding it was not known as Friday how Wright became involved either. Earlier that week, News 6 observed several bullet markings at the victim's home as well as dozens of evidence markers outside. I heard the rapid gunfire and I called 911, said a woman who lives nearby and asked to remain anonymous for her family's safety. The earlier shooting. The woman, who described herself as Neighborhood Watch leader, said that she knew the mother and child who were shot. She was such a beautiful girl, the woman said, so quiet, you would want the mother for a neighbor. No loudness, no riffraff. Her kids were very controlled. Grief counselors were brought to Eagles Nest Elementary School on Friday for students and staff members. News 6 chose to name and show Brown due to the charges he is expected to face and the circumstances in this case. We have reached out to Orlando police to ask more questions and to obtain incident reports. Anyone with information about the shooting was urged to contact the Orlando Police Homicide Unit or Crime Line at 800-423-8477 to remain anonymous. Here's the news video.
Opening tonight, investigators are now treating a homicide investigation as a double homicide.
Officials confirming a 6-year-old who told you was shot and critically injured in a Tuesday shooting has died. Police were called to the area of Poppy Avenue Tuesday evening. It's right near where the 435 goes over Raleigh Street. Well, officials say the girl and her mom were both shot, taken to the hospital. A third person, a man, died on Wednesday. News 6's Brian Didlick brings us the latest on the investigation.
This has been a tragic update from Orlando police, who named not only the 6-year-old girl, but the third victim as well. And while many questions still remain, police say that the mother and daughter who were victims in all of this were not the intended targets.
Eagles Nest School families, This is Principal Adams calling with some very sad news to share. Yesterday afternoon, I was notified of the tragic death of one of our students.
In a voicemail sent to parents, the Eagles Nest Elementary community learned about the death of 6-year-old Ajalia Hashim. Hashim's mother still remains in the hospital. Hashim and her mother were both shot this past Tuesday evening on Poppy Avenue. It was the same night as the county was bracing for possible impacts of Hurricane Idalia. Orlando police Friday sent out this statement saying it is believed this was a drive-by shooting and the 6-year-old and her mother were not the intended targets. Police in their update named the third victim, 19-year-old Isaiah Wright. Wright, according to investigators, was dropped off at a nearby hospital where he later died. It is unclear Wright's connection to Hashim and her mother, or if Wright was the target. We have reached out to Orlando police multiple times requesting an incident report to learn more about what happened and the connections of all the victims. At this time, we have not received that report.
I know I speak for the entire Eagles Nest community when I express the grief we feel at the loss of one of our own.
Orange County Public Schools says grief counselors are being made available as they cope with this loss. A day after the incident, News 6 did talk with one neighbor who refused to go on camera for fear of retaliation, said she knew the mother and daughter.
She's such a beautiful girl. I mean, so quiet. You would want her from me. She, no loudness, no riffraff. Her kids were controlled.
This case is still under investigation. If you have any information about this, you are encouraged to call police. We're in Orlando. Brian Bitlake, getting results. News 7.
Tonight, a 6-year-old girl shot and killed in Orlando. Developing tonight, a 6-year-old girl shot and killed in Orlando. Police say she and her mom were shot during a drive-by Tuesday night and died last night. Fox 35's Maria Edinger's joining us live from the Orlando Police Department. Maria, we learned the family was not the intended target.
Yeah, Marlisa, so just to reiterate all this, there were 3 people shot in total. A little girl, 6 years old, passed away, as well as the 19-year-old man who was shot. The little girl's mother survived. She is still in the hospital. Now, the police specifically said today that the little girl and her mom were not the intended targets, but they didn't say anything about that regarding the 19-year-old. They did release the victims' names today. The 6-year-old girl was Ajalia Hashim. The 19-year-old was Isaiah Wright. I talked with several people in the neighborhood where this happened. One man told me he is tired of all the violence, and at this point, he says he keeps to himself in his home. Another woman, though, told me she has never seen anything like this in the neighborhood. She said she heard the gunfire and saw people gathered outside after the shooting.
I've been here like 30, 35, 40 years, and I've never known something like that to happen. So it's really awesome.
Orange County Public School Superintendent Maria Vasquez said in a statement today, our students should not have to live in a world where their lives are in danger in their own neighborhoods. She added, we cannot accept that these tragedies have become all too common in our community. This will not stop until we work together to end these appalling tragedies. Orlando police are asking for information that could lead to an arrest. You can give them a call or you can call Crime Line. If you get that information and it results in an arrest, you can get a $5,000 reward. Live in Orlando, Maria Edinger, Fox 35 News.
Tonight, an arrest has been made after a 6-year-old girl was shot and killed in Orlando. Police stated she and her mom were hit in a drive-by on Tuesday, but weren't the intended targets. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Deborah Cho. Fox 35's Matt Treza updates us on everything we've learned about the people who were able to be tracked down.
Orlando police walking the 15-year-old murder suspect from their headquarters to a waiting cruiser. The teenager charged with the deaths of 19-year-old Isaiah Wright and 6-year-old Alalia Hashim. Orlando Commissioner Bakari Burns represents the Carver Shores community where the deadly shooting happened.
And we commend the swift action, the good policing, the diligent work of the law enforcement, OPD, to make this arrest.
Police say it was a drive-by shooting. They say the 6-year-old victim was in her living room when she was hit. Her mother was also shot and expected to survive her injuries. They say 19-year-old Wright was taken to a hospital where he was pronounced dead.
We as a community have to come together to find solutions for some of those root causes of, these senseless violent acts.
Because of his age, we're not naming the teenage suspect or showing his face. Bishop Kelvin Cabarrus is an Orlando pastor. He says this violence needs to stop.
Young people, this is not a video game. This is not a social media trick. When you pull a gun out and take somebody's life, it's over. I'm sorry, it won't fix it. My condolences, having grief won't change it.
The teenager is facing homicide charges, but Orlando police say this is still an open investigation, and they're asking anyone with information about this shooting to please give the homicide unit or crime line a call. In Orlando, Matt Trezza, Fox 35 News.
Okay, this is my closing thoughts about this story. What I don't understand is that when you are here looking for a target to shoot at, right? You gotta remember the person you're looking for is not the only person who lives in that neighborhood. There's children, there's families, there are tons of people, and you're shooting like you have no common sense. Bullets don't have a name on it. So when a bullet flies out of a gun and it just hit any and everybody, the chances of surviving a gunshot wound is almost 40%. This 15-year-old clearly been out here committing all types of crimes with his gun. It's not his first time shooting his gun off at someone, but the system is broken. These children, these teens, who are continuing to get access to these guns on our streets, they need to be caught and arrested. They should not be walking the streets with firearms, shooting up neighborhoods, and not being apprehended. And I'm pretty sure this person, and I don't understand, is why this 15-year-old is not, by his, well, they did release his picture. They did not release his name because of his age. I would have released his name. I'm going to tell you why. If he wanted to shoot and kill a 6-year-old, injure the mother of that child, and kill a 19-year-old, I think his identity should be, I think his name should be released. Because it's not, if you're bold enough to commit the crime, then everything about you should be put to the front burner. Your image, your name, your background, your history. Because I'm pretty sure this person has a criminal history. And it's not his first time committing this type of crime. And what I don't understand is that why are you shooting anyways when you know for certain you're not going to hit your target? You got to ruin innocent lives. Why would you try? This not the first time somebody trying to shoot at their intended target and it hit another person coming on. It's always in the media. So at some point, it's time to get the guns off the streets. At least get them out of the hands of our teens. And a lot of these weapons, and the reason they're ending up in our teens' hands, I'm gonna tell you why and how. How is that majority of these guns are stolen, and or you have relatives or friends on the streets that are purchasing guns and selling them to the homeboys and homegirls, and they're buying them off the streets. It's time to start gearing up. Talk about the police department. It's time to gear up in SWAT uniform and bust and crack down on these guns, illegal guns being shipped in, and our teens getting access to them because they are ruining lives. And it's up to people like us to do something about it. This individual needs life without parole. He's clearly a danger to society and he's a danger to himself. If he willing to shoot up a neighborhood and kill a child, imagine who he wouldn't kill. He could whole family if he let him because he wanted to get at his rival. But you're ruining innocent lives. And the sad part is that you killed a child. And so when you get to prison, they gonna love you. It's gonna be a hard world for you to get to prison. When they know that you end up killing a child, oh, you're not gonna make it in prison. They put your PC protective custody. You ain't gonna make it. You know what you went there for. You ain't gonna make it. It's gonna be a hard world for you in prison. But that's life you chose. They're throwing your lives away, being thugs in the streets. There's no need for that. Go to school, get your education, get your scholarship, play a sport, find other friends to associate with. And if you're in a gang, get out of it. Because that's what's going to happen. When you get arrested and you're in that gang, you go to prison. Your gang buddies ain't going to be there for you when you get there. They going to be somewhere else. They could be there for you. You won't sit and do that time by your damn self until you get released from prison. And they still not going to be there. So you look stupid. Now, do I think this is gang related? Yes, because he was looking for a target. This was targeted. So that makes you probably looking to shoot at another set of gang members, which is very stupid because now a child lost her life, a 19-year-old lost his life, and a mother is injured because of your selfish acts, because your selfish actions. And at the end of the day, the system needs to be more tougher, and there needs to be a penalty for this. Now, this happened in Florida. Now, because he's 15, I'm pretty sure they won't seek the death penalty. But what I would do is two things. One, when the trial is over, find him guilty. I will personally wait until he turned 18 for sentencing. 15 to 18. Then sentence him to death. Have him sit on death row from 18 to like 35 years old. And then sign a death warrant and execute him. Because what he did deserves death penalty. This is a death penalty case. Hands down. This was intentional. This was targeted. And this was premeditated. Just because you didn't mean to hit someone, it was still premeditated. Because you was willing to hit someone else with your gunfire. So at the end of the day, this was premeditated. And I hope they throw a book at you or you that you should you what you did was change two people's lives forever. And a third. And for that, you deserve to spend the rest of your natural life in prison. Tell me what you think about this story down below in the comment section. And what do you think he should get? Life in prison without parole? Or do you think he should get the death penalty? Comment down below. Condolences to the family, condolences to that child. Hope and prayers for the mother. And condolences to the teen who was killed. This guy should not be back on the streets and arrest his partners, arrest the other gamers who he was shooting at, find them and arrest them too. Hold them accountable too. Because they're the reason why this child is dead, the teen is dead, and the mother's in the hospital fighting injuries. So at the end of the day, it's time to throw the book. All right. Our next story is crazy. So let's talk about it. Our next story is going to be from NBC News. A YouTube mother is arrested for child abuse. So who is Ruby Frankie? The mom of the 8 passengers YouTube channel is arrested on abuse charges. Let's talk about it. Ruby Frankie, the mother behind the defunct family YouTube channel 8 Passengers, was arrested on 2 counts of aggravated child abuse Wednesday after police found a malnourished child with open wounds and duct tape on their extremities. Frankie was arrested alongside her business partner and collaborator, Jody Hildebrandt, who is the founder of the controversial life counseling organization CONNEXIONS Concussions. The 2 women create advice videos that critics say promote a harsh style of parenting. Frankie has come under fire in the past for her now deleted parenting vlogs. Viewers have accused Frankie and her husband, Kevin, of being abusive for years. Ruby Frankie and Hildebrandt did not respond to emails and calls requesting comment. It was not immediately clear if they had attorneys representing them. As news of the arrest circulates, here's what to know about the controversial family influencer. Frankie and her husband launched the family YouTube channel 8 Passengers in early 2015. The channel chronicled the lives of the couple and their 6 children: Sherry, Chad, Abby, Julie, Russell, and Eve. The channel had nearly 2.3 million subscribers. As many family channels on YouTube do, 8 Passengers focus on Ruby and Kevin, Frankie's parenting style, the children's upbringing and discipline as the kids grew up in Utah. The parents, members of the Churches of Christ of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, also shared the children's homeschool. As of Thursday, the channel was not available on YouTube. YouTube did not immediately respond to requests for comment asking when and why the channel has been removed. Forbes reported the channel has been taken down earlier this year. Kevin Frankie referred NBC News to his attorney, Randy Castro, who did not immediately respond to requests for comment. NBC News also reached out to Ruby and Kevin Frankie's adult children, Sherry Frankie and Chad Frankie. Sherry Frankie did not immediately respond to multiple requests for comment. Chad Frankie could not immediately be reached for comment. What is a criticism against the Frankies? Family channels, which typically showcase parenting, raising their infants, toddlers, and young children, have become a contentious part of the YouTube ecosystem in recent years. Some parents have lost custody of children after viewers reported their behavior to the authorities. Others have been scrutinized for exploiting their underage children for views. Although the Frankies grew a sizable following, the family became the subject of harsh criticisms in recent years, including allegations of child abuse. Local child protective services were reportedly called in June of 2020 after a Change.org petition called on the family to be investigated. The petition cited an example from the new deleted video that showed then 15-year-old Chad sharing that he slept on a beanbag for 7 months as a punishment for behavioral issues. Insider reported that at the time the Utah's Division of Child and Family Services visited the Frankie household but closed the case due to unsupported claims. A spokesperson for the division told NBC News in an email Thursday that it could not share information about a case, both past or present, or confirm involvement with a child or family, citing confidentiality and privacy reasons. The Frankies have also been criticized for refusing to bring the then 6-year-old daughter lunch at school after she forgot to pack one, threatening to throw away their prized possessions and denying her children personal space. Con Actions Jody Hildebrandt life coaching services that focuses on parenting relationships is also known for its strict teachings on parenting. Some critics have found the lessons to be extreme, including one video in which Ruby, Frankie, and Hildebrandt say a child who refuses to abide by their principle of truth does not love unconditionally and may cut off from their families. Frankie frequently makes videos with Hildebrandt for Con Actions. She's listed as a part of the business from the C website. Con Actions website describes Frankie as a certified mental fitness trainer for the organization. Frankie was arrested Wednesday in Utah on aggravated child abuse charges after a malnourished child with open wounds inducted on the extremities was found. Officials announced Hudbridge was arrested on the same charges. In Utah, aggravated child abuse is defined as an act that inflicts upon a child serious physical injury or causes permanent unable to inflict serious physical injury upon a child. The Santa Clara Evans Public Safety Department sent a statement Thursday that the evidence led them to a nearby home where a second child was found in a similar condition. Both children were taken to a hospital. 4 minors were also taken into the care of the Division of Child and Family Services. Sherry Frankie and the oldest Frankie child posted on Instagram story on Wednesday, evidencing that it had been a big day. Me and my family are so glad justice is being served. The story said we've tried to tell the police and CBS for years about this, and so glad they finally decided to step up. She added that the kids are safe, but there's a long road ahead. Sherry Frankie previously shared that she was no longer in contact with her immediate family and did not support the extreme beliefs of Con Actions, according to Insider. Ali Metcham, Julie with Drew, and Bonnie Helene Dreamer, who said they are Ruby Frank's sisters, who are also family influencers, shared a joint Instagram post saying her arrest needed to happen. For the past 2 years, we have kept quiet on the subject of our sisters Ruby Frankie for the sake of her children. The post read, behind the public scene, we have done everything we could to try and make sure the kids were safe. Well, my thing is this: they should have reported it, and I'll get more of my opinion after the news video.
The house a young child. They say this is the house a young child escaped from and went to a neighbor's house asking for food and water. They said that that child was severely malnourished along with another one they found inside the same home. Now, we talked to neighbors in this area, and they said that they don't really know the homeowner of this home very well. But she's in business with a woman who has gained a huge following online with YouTube videos getting hundreds of thousands of views.
So being a mom's a full-time job, but
popular Utah family vlogger Ruby Frankie was arrested Wednesday. The 41-year-old mother of 6 is known for sharing clips of her children's daily lives on their now defunct YouTube channel, 8 Passengers. Today, she and her business partner, Jody Hellerman, are accused of abusing some of them.
No, my bedroom was taken away for 7 months and then gave it back like a couple of weeks ago.
I don't think our viewers know that.
Sleeping on a beanbag. I was sleeping on a beanbag since October. I gave my room back like 2 weeks ago.
Police say a clearly malnourished 12-year-old child crawled out of the window of Hildebrand's Ivans area home. A neighbor called 911 when he showed up at their house asking for food and water. Officers say his wrists were duct taped. He had wounds from being tied up across his body. Investigators say they found a 10-year-old girl inside the same house who was also malnourished. Frankie's family vlogs ended without a specific reason given. Frankie now works for the Utah County company Connections along with Hildebrand. It's described as a treatment program for those with mental health and addiction issues. Connections has been the subject of a lot of controversy, specifically for its teachings on parenting. Many of Frankie's siblings are also online content creators. Her sisters released a social media statement saying, quote, Ruby was arrested, which needed to happen. Jody was arrested, which needed to happen. The kids are now safe. Frankie's eldest daughter, Sherry, posted this picture on Instagram with the caption, finally. In the next slide, she said her family is glad justice was served. She wrote, quote, we've been trying to tell police and CPS for years about this, end quote. The Santa Clara Ivans Police Department did not provide an update on the children's condition. According to the Washington County Sheriff's Office, Frankie is still in custody.
At this point, we know the Santa Clara Ivans Police Department is working with the Springville Police Department on this case. We will continue to bring you updates as we get them, both down here in southern Utah and up in Utah County. Shelby Lofton, KSL 5 News.
Popular YouTube mom, known for her strict parenting style, now under suspicion of child abuse. ABC's Zareen Shah is back with more on that. Zareen, good morning once again.
Yeah, well, this is just a shocking story. For the first time, we're hearing 911 responders and their horrifying descriptions of that child. And the mom of that kid touting herself to millions as being a parent coach that others should emulate.
And my kids are literally starving. I hesitate to say this because it's going to sound like I'm like a mean barbarian.
This morning, a Utah mom influencer arrested, facing 6 felony counts of aggravated child abuse. For the first time, we're hearing emergency responders as they see one of Ruby Frankie's children after he allegedly escaped through a window.
Email does have gun tape around each ankle. He's not telling me up to why. And said that there's sores around his wrists and ankles. He's becoming, or correction, he's becoming emotional regarding the child's health. I'm going to go ahead and have medical take on this one.
Arrest documents saying the child escaped to a neighbor's home. The 12-year-old child described by that neighbor in a phone call to police as emaciated and malnourished with open wounds. Court documents also describing deep lacerations from being tied up with a rope.
He's also saying that there's 2 of his sisters that are back at the home as well.
Police say they also found Frankie's 10-year-old daughter malnourished. Frankie is known for her strict parenting advice to millions of TikTok and YouTube followers. The mom of 6 previously received criticism online for some parenting tactics, seen in a now deleted YouTube video saying she has kept food from her kids.
I'm not even going to let you eat breakfast until you get your chores done.
Experts say Frankie's videos, even the deleted ones, could be used against her in court.
If you're the prosecutor and the detectives, you may really be happy you have that, because it could well corroborate some of these charges that the government is alleging.
And 4 of Frankie's 6 kids are in child custody. The other 2 are adults. Now, it's unclear when her first court appearance will be, but likely all eyes will be on her when it happens. Janae?
A really shocking and disturbing case, Doreen. Thank you for that.
Well, hey there.
Okay. One, I'm not surprised. I'm going to tell you why. I used to watch a YouTube channel, and it was called Daddy05. And he did pranks on his children. I believe 1 or 2 of the children wasn't his, but he took the role to be the parent and did horrible pranks to the children, scream, make the children cry. There's a lot going on. And then CPS got involved, children were taken, put with the biological mother. And, you know, people think that these YouTubers, parents, YouTube parents, are just normal people. If you believe the background of these people, the facade these people have, to make it seem like they're normal, it will shock you. I'm not surprised, because I'm pretty sure there are a number of YouTubers out here that is just like Ruby Frankie. And one thing for sure is covering up all types of stuff. And I haven't yet come to light. But I want to call out the family of Ruby Frankie, the sisters of Ruby Frankie. And I'm going to say shame on you for not reporting this long time ago. If they knew this was going on, someone should have been a voice for these children. And if they knew that this was going on and failed to report it, they could be held accountable. They could be held just as responsible too, because you failed your duty. And it's called complicit. You're complicit. That means that you knew this was going on and you did nothing about it. You didn't report it, you didn't stop it, you didn't do nothing about it. That means you can face charges too, as a party to the crime. Just because you wasn't directly involved. If you knew this was going on and you did not say nothing, you can be held accountable. And that's why I said shame on the sisters, because you knew this was going on in this home. You should have reported. If you knew this was your sister is capable of doing, you should have reported. I'm glad someone saw something and said something. And that was the neighbors. We gotta start being the voice for the children and for those who can't speak for themselves. Because we have people like Ruby Frankie, who is a great manipulator. And will wanting to abuse her children for views. She did it for the views. No matter what anybody says, she did it for the views. And at the end of the day, somebody should have stood up and stopped this on time ago. Child abuse is a serious crime. And punishing your children to the point where they turn abusive and you post it on YouTube. What you don't understand is that the police is watching. They're taking notes as you're doing it. And they will knock on your door. And they will take you to jail. And you and your assistant was arrested. And your assistant should have been reporting this behavior to the police. She failed her duty. So that means she cared more about pay, more about the money than the safety of your children. So guess what, woman? She used you and your children. And she helped you abuse your children. Believe it or not, that's going to come out in court in a later date. But we got to start being more responsible when we post videos on social media, YouTube, because people are watching, they're taking notes, they're reporting this stuff, and before you know it, FBI is knocking on your door. And so somebody should have saw something and said something. And they failed to intervene when these children was being abused. And at the end of the day, we gotta stop allowing women to manipulate us and the system because she thought she was beating the system but and abusing her children. Someone should have stood up and said, that's not gonna fly. She should have been caught a long time ago and prosecuted a long time ago. Her assistant should have been prosecuted a long time ago and caught a long time ago. So we gotta do better. We gotta do better. And so the children are now in the system